Oh, whoops. There's a ghost in the webcam. Oh well, guess I'll do it without webcam. Let me try reconnecting it. Maybe it's as simple as that. Oh boy. Yay, technology. What the hell? This one we can remove. What the hell is this fuckery? Delete. Yes. Ah, there we go. Hi. Good evening. Also, cheers. This is not Carmelit, it's a cornet. And it's so yummy. All right, what are we doing? We made some initial C4 diagrams, code repositories up, quality attributes, completed the initial story map, and we've got sort of a walking skeleton. It's rather crawling rather than walking, I guess. Let me show you what we're building. I think this is the more accurate one. We're building a website to show a leaderboard of a video game. We've got a bunch of people or actors that are going to be using this thing. We've got an unregistered user, a registered player, a team captain, team officer, and an admin. They're all going to be using the same application, which is just a Spring Boot fat jar that's hosting both the backend via a REST API built in Kotlin and a single page application, the UI, built in Elm. For the front end, we don't have a lot of stuff going on right now, but we do have two different databases. I guess we stopped figuring this out because we've got an event stream, which is just a database table in PostgreSQL. So event store is incorrect. It should be PostgreSQL holds business events. We've called them broadcast events. Excuse me. Yep, and then there are projections that are created out of this, and they are put into the regular relational database, where we also keep players. Players aren't even in here yet. But yeah, you know, maybe I should add that here somewhere. Player management, for lack of a better term. And what else do we have? Here's like a very intricate flow of how actions go. Maybe should make it a little bit bigger, maybe. Hopefully that'll be a little bit more clear then. Oh, this is a bit better. So we've got a registration component in the UI. It will post something to the REST registration controller. That's the REST being hosted by Spring Boot. What this thing will do is it will register a player. So execute the register player command via the command executor. That thing gets handled with a command handler, goes to the registration repository to be saved, gets back here. I forgot why that's green. Management bounded context. I guess this is also management bounded context, but yeah, whatever. Then something gets returned, namely a result, and then a domain event, a player registered. This domain event then gets broadcast via the domain event broadcaster. Then something is listening to that. It's the most, this is incorrect for now. We've called it, jeez. We have called it, I guess we need to wait a bit. It probably was a bad idea to start like some update of some programs in the background. Shit, I wanted to keep this open for now, but we've got, where is it? Maybe in here. Yeah, the broadcast, nope, that's not it either. Official, maybe it is the Leaderboard's domain event to broadcast event mapper. This is the thing that listens to those events. So really, there's like a thing in between there. And where did we put that? It's in leaderboards, so it's still in here. So it should be colored that way. Okay. And this thing actually receives those player registered events and then puts them in an event store. This stuff is gonna come afterwards. So let's map that. I like that I always start off my stream with this thing because it forces me to correct whatever I have. So yeah, actually this is going to put mapped domain event, so player registered broadcast event, which is different. It's a different nuance here, and instead of doing, oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Store, there we go. And then we've got the policy, and the policy listens to this thing. Well, no, it doesn't really listen. It's a timed thing that we've already explained somewhere else. Creates this thing, which then eventually gets saved here. Well, that's not really what happens here. It rehydrates a most challenges leaderboard, and then this leaderboard is saved. So let's click that here. Voila. There we go. It's not so difficult. It's not so difficult at all. Look at all these arrows. But this is where we are at now, actually. This is working. All of this is working. We also have a registration scenario that basically does all of this stuff and then also verifies. I can show that as well. And I think that's where we will find our next thing that we should do. Let me first navigate to the right thing and then put this in presentation mode so you can actually read something. In the meanwhile, I'm gonna have another sip. Yum. So what do we have? An anonymous user registers themselves and becomes a registered player. We'll just say I am registering myself. Yeah, I already remember where we are at. So what we want to do is we want to register a player. So that's what happens here in this step function. This does an actual post call to the /register endpoint with a player name JSON for now. And it will return the location, well, actually the player ID, I guess. This is like a cheeky way to take the UUID. And from that player ID, we can fetch the player itself to verify that the player itself has been persisted. So that's really, that's this part up until here. Yeah, and then actually this part, and then also the path to query the player itself. So all of this, that's what's happening in the first with just this block of code. Then we'll also want to check that the events have been registered correctly or saved correctly, sorry. And what we do here is we want to check the event stream, which is just a Postgres event stored. So that's literally this thing right here. That I want to, maybe let's make it a bit closer, just like that. I don't think we're going to need our terminal anyway. So then we check, hey, is there a player registered event somewhere? Get the first one and check whether that nickname is indeed scallop, the thing that was entered here. And then actually what's missing then is this bit. So I know that it works because I've already manually verified it, but I don't have a regression test for that, and I want that as well. So this thing is going to, maybe I'm going to steal this part. I don't think it's every minute. I should also maybe find a way to configure that for my my tests. So this is like every X amount of, in every interval, whatever. Yeah, and then it rehydrates a challenges leaderboard, which then gets persisted in this Postgres database. And that's just something I wanted to verify, maybe like that, but maybe it can be a little bit easier. So yeah, we've got a data source there, but maybe we don't really need that, because I can also just auto wire. What's just a second? Let me do something real quick. Voila. Okie dokie. Yeah, so maybe I don't really want it to look like that. I was going to auto wire a private late or Yeah, maybe I just want to query the database. The other thing I could do is not query the database and instead make an endpoint that will show the leaderboard. That could be cool. Then we would have a fetch leaderboard step. And we would get a leaderboard out of that we can then verify. Is that a step too big or not? I guess it is. Then again, I've already verified that saving it to the database already works. So let's write the assertion on the REST API, yeah. So register, and that's not something I want to check. I want to fetch the leaderboard. There isn't any ID related to that thing. So this is going to be a leaderboard. This leaderboard should be equal to, and then I guess it's like I don't know, a leaderboard. I think I call them Jason every time, huh? Oh, I don't actually. Man, maybe it should be enough to verify that Scallop is in the leaderboard and that they have no rank and 0 points or something. So maybe leaderboard might be a list. Let's do that. A list of how do you call that? Like one single entry in a leaderboard? A position? Someone's position in the leaderboard? Maybe that's just a leaderboard entry. Good lord. So then we can say contains a leaderboard entry of rank nothing, nickname Scallop, score 0 point. We need a better name for this. Okay, this looks like something I want. So this is a step. Let's try to put it close to these. So it's not registration steps anymore. Maybe let's make a sub package of leaderboard stuff. And then those registration steps we can put in a... Man, I forgot. Oh no, this is starting to become a bit intricate. Because I've called this leaderboards and leaderboards API, and this is core and core API, but I want like a better name for this bundle here. It's a different bounded context, so maybe... Yeah, what's that context about? General management. I hate it. Yeah, but so the problem is that I'm going to also call this core now, and that's not what I want. So if you have a better idea to name that, please let me know. I want leaderboard steps as a file, and then I'm going to create this step there. Where was it? in the scenario, this is the function. Mayo. Now I'll need another way to share this client. I guess it might be public, I'm not really sure. Yeah, that's not good, huh? I don't really want to share it that way. Or do I? This is like general setup stuff, so maybe we can move that. Wait, base URL? Yeah. Let's move it to client or something. I could have added it in the root. Might have been a bit easier. Yeah, this base URL can also be moved there, I guess. To file then. It's client, I believe. Yep. Okie doke. Now it feels a little bit more fair to reuse it, even though it's really weird. But I guess it's an encapsulation issue, huh? Okay. This thing is going to need to return a list of leaderboard entry JSON objects. These I want to create in the REST APIs thing. So not registration, but package leaderboards, and then I guess we can already call it a leaderboard controller. And then we've got a data class, this with some vals. We've got a rank. Maybe we have this in the right place. I'm not really sure. As a type. Did I not have a rank? I do, but it is an API. Then I don't really know why it can't find this. Should be like that. I think I know why. The REST API is not depending on the domain leaderboards API module yet. Let's refresh that. This doesn't need to be there anymore. And then once this is done, once we're done with gradling, allez. Taking a while. We've also got a nickname. It might also be in there, in fact. On the place where we've got a rank. Now I do the exact same shortcut. Sorry, I'm not awake yet. nickname and a score. Yeah, let's go here. And then we've got a score. Import that one too, and that one too. There we go. Now we've got the leaderboard entry JSON using API classes from our leaderboards domain. I thought we had a leaderboard entry JSON then that we could use in our scenario test, which is not. Then this might not be updated yet. Oh, it should have it. Ah, there we go. It wasn't up to date yet. Okay, nice. Then we can change the return type of that thing to return a list of leaderboard entries, and then we can cheat in the registration steps, and yeah, basically do a get. Where's the fetch here? Dot get with a URL and then the content type. Voila. And then instead of going to player, I want to go to leaderboards board. This should be okay. Yeah, that's the thing. Oh yeah, maybe I need to suspend this thing. Yeah. Voila. And then that should be that. So it's just because the return type of this function is already typed with this thing that this get extension function is reified and is going to map whatever's being returned from this URL into this list of leaderboard entry JSONs. That's it, really. Okay. And then it should contain that. Now we don't have a leaderboard controller just yet. We can for sure make one. That's going to be a REST controller. Now I am thinking that I have written some unit tests for these things before. Yeah. Is there some important stuff in here? I guess not. This is quite quite simple stuff that I have now, so I don't know if I want to do all of this. Let's just check how it feels writing a controller without writing tests. Here we go. Leaderboard controller. Ah, yeah. I've already made my choice which ORM framework I'm going to be using. And I was thinking maybe I don't really need this since it's just a query straight to the database and out of the controller. And I was thinking maybe I can make this not just a REST controller, but like a yeah, nothing of this in fact. Just declare a leaderboard. What's that thing called again? JPA repository. And that will also host REST endpoints, but then I've got less control about the endpoint, so maybe let's not do that and just keep it in here. It's going to be a bit more simple, less magic, so more simple. All in favor? I see, that's funny because I'm the only one. Okay, you've got the rest mapping. Let's map it to leaderboard, like I expect in my scenario, no, in my step / leaderboard. Then we can return, oh, we've got a get mapping. That's it really. This is going to return a response entity of a list of leaderboard entry JSON things. Get, I guess. And then what does this do? Oh, that's not how you write Kotlin, my dear. To do. Okay. Yeah. What do we need to do? In fact, is now I am curious. Should I use this? Get ranking. I called it get ranking instead of. Let's do that. Okay, so we wire this thing. I hope that should be okay. No, we need to have a query for that, I think. Now I'm wondering, do I want a query for that? It's so silly. Let's not do that. Let's not mess with that too much. So we'll just call that leaderboard val import. Now I wonder if it's not no squiggly lines, so we can do return leaderboard dot get ranking, and then we'll just map those to as JSON. And then we'll write an extension function here. It's really silly, actually. Where does this thing live? A projected player? That's in API. Do I want to make the distinction here? It's always going to be one-to-one, but the thing is, these are things that can be stored in the database, or is that's not true? In fact, I can maybe just use these. The thing is, I don't want to add checks and annotations on there, so maybe we can just get away with returning these. Let's try that. Let's just return these instead of mapping them to JSON for now. It's a bit. It feels weird. I don't think I want to. I can't. I'm sorry. I just can't. Let's write an extension function on a list of player projections. Still have it in my projected player, saying as JSON, and this thing you can map to lead like a new leaderboard entry JSON of this.rank, this.nickname. Not this, it.nickname and it.score. Yeah, and maybe I should say that it's going to be returning a list of leaderboard entry JSONs. it's, yeah, I need to wrap it in an entity of, no, like this. Also doesn't work. Yeah, dot OK. Yeah. There we go. There we go. That wasn't so hard. Nice. Now we go to our registration scenario. We can actually just run this now. And then we've got a full test. Maybe what I'll first do though is wipe the freaking database. That I haven't done properly yet. So every time I'm going to run this test, my event store will be filled, my leaderboard will be generated, and my registered players will be filled. So let's try and wipe these. Get lost, scallop. Oh shit, that's not what I wanted to do. Delete all of the things. Voila. Most challenges done. Leaderboard. That's the only one we have. Our event store is also not empty, so let's get rid of that one too. And then, good folks of the chat and the stream, aka viewers, let's run this. Let's run this scenario. Oh boy. So in the background now, what's going to happen is, since this is a Spring Boot test, my scrambled egg application is going to start up. It's going to connect to this to these databases, in fact, that are up and running because I'm running Docker instances or Docker containers of those. And I will make a call to HTTP endpoint to register a player. Then in the background, then I will also verify that the player is able to be fetched from that endpoint, or like another endpoint. Then I will check that there's a player registered event in the event stream. And then I will check that there was a new leaderboard created with me in it with a score of 0. So basically, and oh shit, I shouldn't have. Ah, damn it. Maybe I was. Okay, no. There's another issue. These are empty. So that might be, it might be a timing issue. Let's first check whether there's a record in the date. No, there's not. That's interesting. Then it still might be a timing issue. Okay. Dang it. So what I did before, let's try that again, I guess. So let's do a thread.sleep for a second. Should be okay, I hope. And then I'll need to wipe. Damn it. So, okay. You can see how this is going to be super annoying. And I guess this will just have to do for now until I've written a clean statement. So let's run that test again. So the thing that's happening, I think, is that in between the run blocking of checking whether there's an event here and this, there's a scheduled timer that should go off and trigger this, the creation of the leaderboard entry. So I guess that's, maybe I should have logged something like where we are waiting a minute or second, sorry. So the broadcast happened. Maybe let's also just put something in. Then we don't have to debug all the time. Let's go to the broadcast mapper. This thing here. Where is it at? Okay, map to broadcast event. So I want to make sure that this is called so, and it's annoying because really what I want to do is, I guess, this. Oh, first let's create a logger. We can do that with a val logger, which is a logger, but then I guess it's this one. I don't really know. Then we've got SLF for J's logger factory to get a logger for this mapper. Voila. Now what? Why? Maybe it's a logger factory. Yeah, okay, nice. And then let's just do, oh, for fuck's sake. So then it's not that, but this. I don't care about this one. I guess I got the wrong one before. That I don't understand. You're always going to get back a logger there. Okay, and now I want to log using info. Mapping domain event. Yeah, this should be okay. Voila. Oh, you can't actually do that? That's weird. Then what I'll try to do is do it like that. And then say let. Oh, this is such a hassle. No, this is not really working well, huh? I want this, or I want to keep that. Then we will when the domain event. And then I guess what I'll do is before, maybe I can do it here. The dot also. Call it. Also has empty. Oh, okay, never mind. Yeah, okay, let's see what it does now. So we've got our registration scenario. Then we will empty this. Goodbye. We'll go to the registered players, get rid of this one, then go back to the scenario and rerun it again. Oh boy. How are y'all doing? You good? Got any questions? Like, what in the H am I doing? Which TV series can you recommend me? Ah. Am I dumb? I think I'm dumb. Mapping domain event, and then here's the broadcaster. That's so weird that this happens first. And what do heck? Ah, yeah, it's not this thing. Oh my lord. Years and years. What's that? Is that a TV series you can recommend? Been watching Fargo. Then the new season. Holy crap, it's so good. Well, I knew. The latest, the most recent season. I think I'm quite an idiot actually. Yeah. So it's not the broadcaster. No, sorry, not the domain event to broadcast event mapper. It's this thing that's timed, the policy. I'm such an idiot. So I think this is already fine, because, and that's also why we've got the broadcast. We map it and then we keep it, and here we say broadcast it. So yeah, like I said, idiot. Stimpy, you idiot. Let's revert all of these. Then let's go to the policy, this one. And then here is the policy. And now I can, every 5 minutes. you wonder why. God damn it. I'm so sorry. And this has a logger. Oh no, it has a logger, and it says here it is. Maybe it's in debug. Let's do info instead or something. Or maybe we can run it in debug and then see if it gets called. Regenerate is just behind it, so let's see if this works. Okay, so let's go to the scenario. We shall empty. Maybe, okay, something's starting to dawn on me. I think I might have tested it wrong every single time, because as you can see, now I'm actually wiping the database every single time in between tests. And I wasn't doing that before, and it was returning some weird results. I was like, why are there 28 players in the leaderboard that are all called Schelp whenever I run the scenario test? So then I figured out why, and it's because of the event store not being wiped. How do you feel about public extension functions nested in classes? I'm going to need an example of that. Maybe I've been doing some stuff wrong. It's quite likely. I think, oops, let's not get there. So I think what I sometimes do is, where is that? Maybe in some command handler or something. Handler. I don't have it open yet. Let's do a handler. And maybe here. Yeah. Like this. Yeah. So I think this is also public, I think. I don't think it's a good idea. So I haven't been paying a lot of attention to the visibility of my extension functions. But whenever I put it like this, I want it to belong to just this file, or really just this handler. So sometimes I'll do it like this, and sometimes I'll do it like this. And then I guess if I make it private, this is what I wanted to express. So the thing I had before was bad. So thanks for correcting me, because in the end, what will happen is all of your extension functions that are public and are defined in some files, they will be accessible by anywhere else, when really I wanted to express that it should belong here. Yeah, no, this is really cool, but let me show you like a proper use case of that, because where is that? Man, there's like a really neat way of saying map it to something and then save it in the database. Yeah, I guess we'll have to, I don't know it by heart because I forget like in an instant a bunch of stuff. So let's just follow the trail. If you've got a registration controller, this thing has a register player, it executes this, then the register player command handler goes off. I think that's where we were before, no? Ah, here, I can demo it here actually. So what I can do, instead of listing it like that, or maybe I can even, yeah, okay. Let's just refactor this. So here you can see I'm inside a register player handler, which has as a dependency a player repository. This thing will take in a register player command. It will then create a register player from that command. So this is really creating a new player, huh? I need to find a way to make that a bit more explicit, I think, because constructing objects in Kotlin is really concise, but I wanted to express a bit more explicit that I'm creating a new registered player. But what you can do then, instead of doing player repository.save, I can write a private extension function on registered player saying save or something, and then I can say player repository dot save this, and what you can then do is go like yeah, I still need it, I guess. I can't actually because damn it, that's so sad. My code is going to look a bit weird now. But if you have save returning, no, it's unit, that's too bad. But if, let's say that this repository would return the player that it receives, you can start chaining stuff, huh? But yeah, so this trick that it can use the player repository of this handler is, it looks really nice, honestly. But somewhere I've used it like really nicely. I forgot where though. No. Where would that be? Maybe in the, okay, so let's say let's just follow the path. We have got the handler returning a representation. The player was registered, but then, and this is the domain event. So that's this thing. Then we've got the broadcaster, and it's going to broadcast this event that we do in the command executor. Command executor. This one executes that command and then publishes that domain event. Yeah. That's also nothing. Only not something I wanted to show. And then we've got the mapper, which is going to receive the player registered and do that. So let's got the mapper. We can clean up some code there. Also doesn't really do any. Yeah, here I do it. Kick. So this has one public function called on. You've got an event, it's an event listener, so it's participating in Spring Framework stuff. You receive a domain event, you map it, and then you store it. This is very expressive, I think. So you store it, but only if you could map it, basically. And the store is just calling keep on broadcast events. And that belongs to this, but maybe I should make it private. Nice. That's so cool, eh? That's so cool. In the meanwhile, I don't remember if I reran this test or not, but let's do it again. Let's first check if my leaderboard is empty. That's empty. My players are not empty. And then my event store is also not going to be empty. Voila. Rerun the test. And then, oh yeah, maybe let's already change the scheduler. Where is it? The policy, this one. Let's call it every, not 5 minutes, but then 500 milliseconds or something. Then waiting, waiting a second should be okay. Hey, anytime. If you've got any other questions, please. I'm here to discuss. By the way, is this your you seem to know something about Kotlin? Have you tried it before, and what do you think about it? Are you a Java developer or not? And also cheers. Oh, let's see it work. Yeah, it works. It works. Okay, so this is quite cool, and this is why I need to fix this delay somehow, or like inject it as a property somehow. I'm not sure if you can do that. In fact. Anyway, let's go over the stuff that happened now. Maybe we can just look at the like the log itself. You have set up a Kotlin monolith where you work 2 years ago. First time using the language. Oh man, I'm quite jealous actually. I've been trying to sneak it in on a project I'm on right now. And my team, I'll sneak it in. We decided to, instead of using Lombok, you typically use Lombok in your Java projects to get free getters and setters on basically to create data classes, right? And I was like, I don't like the bytecode instrumentation that Lombok does, so screw that mess, let's just use Kotlin instead. We've been doing that, the team's convinced, and then slowly but surely we've been using, sneaking in, I guess. It just happens automatically, where we want to map something from the domain layer or the domain API to JSON objects. And we use extension functions for that because it's really concise in how you can map that thing, and it's very, very explicit. And it's become a thing now, you know, and then just gradually we're using more and more, but really we should be very careful with that because once we hand it over, an team might not even know Kotlin. So we need to really pay attention that we're using it very sparingly. And not use all of the super niche features, let's say. I don't really want to call it niche, but just keep the features that Kotlin provides to a minimum, like data classes, check, maybe extension functions, And then named parameters. That's about as far as we've went right now. But yeah, it makes working with the rest of the Java code base like a pain in the ass, because you want to be coding in this nice Kotlin part where everything is normal and you can see which types are nullable, and then you have to go back to Java. You're like, no, why Java? Why are you doing this to me? You've been around for so long. But yeah, it's fun. It's fun though. I can't wait until we do like a full Kotlin project like this. But as you pointed out just now, how do you feel about public extension functions? It's a very good point. So yeah. You never want to break encapsulation, right? Like maybe not never. I was going to explain what's really happening behind this. So I've got a scenario test that actually calls my REST API. This kickstarts my Spring Boot application on a defined port. The test runtime gets its port from here, I think. Yeah, up. And that thing I can reference, or that port I can reference when I set up my client to go to localhost 999/API. I perform a post for this register player step. I pass along a player named Jason with this nickname that I've passed along from the scenario itself. Then I go fetch that player according to the ID that was returned in the 201 HTTP created header, the location header. And then I verify that my name is in there. Then I'll also go and check the event stream, which I guess I no longer really need to do, because really the result is this. The fact that a leaderboard was created using my nickname with no rank and no score, well, a score of 0 really, because I haven't played any matches or reported any matches, so no results yet. I don't like that I have to do this though. So really what I want to do is during my tests, I want to set the delay to a much lower threshold so that it will listen for stuff every X amount of seconds, maybe, to recreate this this leaderboard and then fetch the leaderboard. I guess it's a bit weird, but what I could do... damn, it's so annoying. The fact that this is timed is really annoying. Maybe instead of, because this is really, wait, where is the policy? The policy gets triggered on a delay, but maybe what I can do instead of the delay is like have this most challenges done policy also subscribe to the domain events, and then after X amount of domain events that it will then regenerate itself. That would be at least more testable, because I no longer need to work with a delay, but that will be fine. The thing I will do is I will add that oh boy, add that as a backlog thing maybe. So instead of triggering, oops, yeah, nice, the policy with a delay, trigger it using after X amount of domain events. I guess I'll need state in that thing then. Again, that's really not cool. Or something, I don't know. Let's put that here so that I don't forget. And then we can continue with something more interesting. Maybe what I do want to do now though is I want to commit this because this is really cool. Now we've got like a new feature. And forgive me for not separately committing those, making those functions for those extension functions more private or reduce the visibility of that. Let's do this because it's a new feature. Returning, or actually a leaderboard via the REST API, which gets rehydrated every X amount of time. This is so cool. Really cool. Okay, so now the next problem, and I mean, it is a real problem. What if I would wait a little bit longer? So in my scenario, what I think I'll do is I'll do contains exactly. So I only want one entry is really what I'm saying here. Huh? I'm not really sure if you can actually do that. I think it works like that. So I think if I just rerun it now, it will fail because there's going to be multiple entries in there because my event store isn't wiped. So let's see what that does. Exciting. Okay, something failed. What failed? Well, we've got two of them in there, but we expected only a single one. So I think another way to reproduce that would be to wait for 2 seconds maybe. That will give ample time for that 500 milliseconds timer to trigger. Because what will happen is, yeah, actually, it would say a bit more if I do it like this, because then, does that return something? Oh no, I hate the song. No. No, where is, oh no. Let's see if we can't find a nicer playlist. There we go. Yeah, this is not returning anything because then I can also do an also, I think. Yeah, it's not returning anything. Sure, because it's fine. In any case, the thing I wanted to show is that if I go here and I wipe these things from the event store, and I go to the registered players and I get rid of these as well, and I will run the scenario again, then I think it will also fail because the scheduler will have run twice. And since there's something wrong with the policy, the policy, since the regenerate thing, wait. I was gonna say it doesn't wipe the database, but in fact it does. It wipes the table before storing all of the projected players, so that's in fact cool. And then we can also verify, I think, that this has been called twice. Regenerate. Oh, God. Debug, and I just ran it. Grr. That's sorry. I think the next thing on my list is going to be writing a database a clear mechanism. Rerun it in debug yo. Then we'll get these statements, and I expect that to be called at least twice, or to appear twice in the log here. Let's see if I'm correct. It's not even with. Why not? Maybe the debug is not being called or something. I don't know. Okay then, fine. Let's try and run it. Oops, like this again. Let's rerun it. It's so weird. Why didn't it log or debug log it? I thought, I really thought that Spring would recognize it's in debug, so let's enable the debug logger. See, it's even called multiple times. Even once when you don't have any players. Okay. One, two, three, four, 5 times it's being called. So yeah. With 1 player. Okay, and now the only thing I need to do. And maybe I think I even wrote. No, I didn't do that. That's not good. Then a completely new, maybe I should rename this. Yeah, this is something we'll figure that out later. Or maybe we'll add that to the list of things we need to do is fix to-dos. Oops. Oh, so sorry. Fix to-dos in code. I guess that will be like something that we'll do every so often. So what I want, when broadcasts are digested. Oh, ooh, look at me. Then a completely new, I should maybe say completely new, is regenerated and saved. Maybe regenerated. Yeah, regenerated. So I want to, I guess in order, but you know, now I've added my tests after the fact, so that's not really great. And oh god damn it. Mokito dot in order, yeah, with this one, and then I want to assign this to in order and then call in order dot verify, and if I do it like this, the test should fail. And then we'll revert it back. See, once I start unit testing, I have to do it properly, I guess. Okay, wanted but not invoked, wipe after, and now if I rerun it, it should work. Yay! Okay, nice. So that's really making it a bit more explicit. What did I change here? To info. This is the test that belongs to it. Here I increased it, and then the contains exactly should. I guess we really want it like that. We don't want multiple entries here when you only registered one player. This I'm going to revert though. I keep forgetting that you can't actually change stuff. I could have sworn that you could do that before. Okay, what did we do is actually we fixed some tests. Made tests stronger. Okay, next up. Wipe database. No, I guess this, main setup. Oh wait, there's like a thing for that. Setup. Wipe all the tables. Yeah, I don't really know. Wipe the tables. How do we do that? Autowire. JDBI. And then get a handle on demand. Good God, I completely forgot how to do that. I remember vaguely that in one of the tests in my RDBMS adapter, and the test scallop. Here we go. Okay, this is the way I sort of want that to work. You just say open, and then you just wipe all the things. I guess we can keep it a bit shorter than that. You don't need to return anything, and I think it's update or something. Execute? Yeah, Yeah. That's it, I think. And then we will just delete from. This is so cool, by the way. Thank you, IntelliJ. I love you so much. Wipe everything from the event store. Maybe it won't listen when I do that, so I'll delete from, what's the other thing? The players, this one. And delete from most challenges done. Where one is a one. There we go. I think, I'm not sure, but I think I can write it like that. Ah, dang it. We'll fix it here. Bum. What? Just wanted that. What the hell? So I was pasting this. I copied that. If I paste it here, it works. If I paste it here, that's strange, huh? Maybe it's a bug in IntelliJ. No, IntelliJ doesn't have bugs. There we go. Now we can maybe just rerun this thing every time. Oh no, it's not gonna work because JDBI here will only have, oh what? Excuse you. Oh. Huh? Actually, this, so what I was gonna say is that this won't work because oh boy. This JDBI will be set up with the data source to the RDBMS, and event store is not in there, so I need to clean this another way. So maybe what I can do is shit. Oh no. No. How does Spring set that thing up? I hate doing this so much. Let's see, huh? Oh yeah, nothing in there. Okay, we've got our RDBMS. This has a config. Looks like that. It's got a data source, which it couldn't auto-wire. Ah. This is correct. There are more than one data source classes, but really I want this one. Huh? So how do you set it up? Because here our event stores, Postgres event store is taking in a database. Ah, right. We do have one data source and then one database. Yeah, maybe I can just do this then. To wipe the event store. But then maybe I can just inject the event store and then wipe that. Did I write something for that? I use test containers there. That's different. Yeah, I could also do that for my my scenario tests, I guess. So this test here is also an integration test where I test versus an actual Postgres event store. But yeah, no, now I'm confused. I don't see where this one is being loaded. Auto configuration package. What's this thing? Yeah, I don't remember any of this. Crikey. Ah, maybe. Nope. I don't remember. What happens if I remove this? Let's just get rid of it. See what happens. Will this test still work? Well, actually, I haven't run my complete build in a long time. And normally you've got normally you've got the CI doing that stuff. Okay, we've put the Spring Boot configuration back. It's in the root package here, and then some magic discovers it or something, or what? Because if this test now works, good God, and it is working. Oh boy. No. Okay. I guess if you do this, then it might search for test containers that have been registered as beans. And then this is a test container. And then I use that to also provide R2DBC props, so that these props can be used in actual code. Where is that? Maybe here? Because I don't even see where... yeah. Ah, no, they are just automatically found or discovered by Spring. Lots of magic happening there. Oh my god. I don't like it. I don't like it. But it's working. Oh. Okay, let's see if we can't come up with something smart, or like something that just works. So I can't really inject it. I guess I could. Let's just do this and then delete. I mean, so this will take care of the, what did I call it, the core bounded context, and then this should take care of private late init var. Let's also auto wire that thing. And then we can delete from event store where everything and then wrap this in a run blocking thing. Voila. Yeah, maybe see if this works. I think it should work. And then I guess... Oh, this is so hacky. I hate it. let's maybe, oops. What's this thing complaining about him? I don't have a direct dependency on that, so maybe let's go to the build.gradle of our web module, where I will also say, brother, you can have a test implementation of JDBI, and the thing is over here. This one. I'm doubting which dependency to take. I think core might be enough. So test implementation. Let's compile, or not compile. Beep, decrypt. What's up? How are you doing? Oh. Could not resolve. Ah, yeah, so it doesn't have the complete version. Oh. Okay. We'll just keep adding this stuff until it works. That's fine. Annoying, but fine. So it's not taking... It's kind of weird though. I would have expected the JDBI dependency to come along with this one. Transitively, I mean. Okay, so Gradle is okay. How was Taco Tuesday? Non-existent. I'm so sad. We did have a different dinner. We had... what was it again? Like a cheese vegetarian thing with Brussels sprouts and oven potatoes. Also very delicious, in fact. But yeah. We'll need to save that taco trip for another day. I wonder... Alright, let's run the test again. Do you want a bit of an explanation of what's going on here? Or can you follow along? Ah, yeah, voila. So next thing is, of course, the R2DBC thing that I'll need. Okay, so that's here. And then... I wonder why... So the IO dependencies also come along with Spring or what? That's so weird. Let's go to this one. Test implementation. And it was R2DBC client or what? Yeah, so it's just from Spring framework, so maybe we don't need these. Let's first try without. Yeah, if I don't need these, then this looks like I don't. Well, no, not yet. First run the test again. Yeah, okay, it's running, so we can get rid of those. Ah, what are you implementing? So this is an extremely wide or broad scenario test that's working, which is great news. So normally we can rerun it again without it failing. So before it was failing. Let me show you what's going on. So when an anonymous user registers themselves, they will become a registered player. And then I wanted to add and a leaderboard is regenerated with them in it. So that's really what's happening here. We've got me. I'm going to register myself as a player. Then I'm going to fetch that player as to check that the endpoint is working for the get, basically. Then I'll check that there was a player registered event triggered or somewhere in the event stream with my name in it. Then I will go to sleep just for a second to allow the policy to discover broadcast events that say there was a player registered, so that leaderboard policy can then regenerate or rehydrate. I think it's the most challenges started leaderboard or something, and then that this leaderboard has an entry in it with me without a rank and with score 0 because I haven't challenged anyone yet, basically. And this is working. And the thing we've just done is we've made sure that our database is clean, or databases rather, because we've got one database with just I've called it the projections database, but really what it is it's the database, it's this one that belongs to the RDBMS part. And then there's another database called Postgres Events Database, which belongs to the event sourcing. So what I've done is I've implemented an event stream using a Postgres table with a JSON-B column and then some ID and a timestamp to store events, and then it will return those as a stream, and it will do so in a non-blocking way. That's why all of these things are running with wrapped with run blocking. Oh yeah, so maybe what I'll do is I'll extract that into a wipe DBs databases. There we go. And then I guess I can make that an internal function of this setup thing, but let's not bother with that. Let's move it down underneath the actual test. Okay, and then we can commit that. Made scenario tests independent actually by wiping event store and projections tables. All right, that's cool. That's already really cool. What other cool stuff can we do? So now we can actually yeah, let's continue tonight with more Kotlin stuff, and then maybe next time we will write some UI in Elm that that registers a player, etc. And maybe also will show the leaderboard, or like I think it's a cool idea. Okay. What can we do then if we want to continue on that path? I guess we can try to start implementing the most challenges done leaderboard So we've got this policy here that's triggered every 500 millis. It will discover all of the broadcast events and then rehydrate a most challenges done leaderboard accordingly. Then create a projection, and then the regenerate function really just wipes and stores it in the database. So that's that thing. That means that I can start unit testing this, the most challenges done leaderboard properly, by just passing it a bunch of events so that it understands how to rehydrate itself, and apply a scoring algorithm maybe. So if we write a unit test for this thing to actually work properly, then I can also discover what kind of events I'm going to need first. And those... Oh man, it's so slow. It's so slow. Okay, so I don't really have any... Ming! I was gonna say I'm going to just look at my diagrams that I've already came up with. But yeah, I don't have those things. So we've got the player registered. That's an event for sure. But I think I've also already... Yeah, we can just check which ones I already have. So these are the broadcast events, but those, we only have a player registered for a leaderboard event here. But then we've got like that mapper, where was it again? This one, which knows which kind of domain event there is. Is that the thing? Yeah, maybe let's check which domain events we have. This is an abstract class. And we have player challenged, player reg. We've got a player challenged already. Yeah, so maybe... this is actually the next event I need to hydrate my leaderboard. The most challenges done leaderboard. I think I am going to maybe rename this to not policy, but to just the leaderboard, and treat the fact that a leaderboard has a policy to recreate it as like a secondary thing. Oh shit, I don't read. If that makes sense. So I want to make the distinction that this is the more important thing here. The leaderboard itself. This is in fact my aggregate. If you can call it that. I think you can call it that. So yeah, let's write unit as maybe do a bit of a refactor, renamed to indicate the aggregate as of higher importance. Here we go. We'll push that as well. Then let's write a unit test, which I didn't write before. I wonder why. So we are in the impl here. What's this thing? This is great. I guess I need to copy this somehow. I bet I use it here. Yeah, nice. Okay, so now comes interesting stuff. We've got a class or a test. I don't think I need Mockito just yet. I'm going to want actual events though. And I'm going to need my policy. I was just going to say I'm going to need my policy though. Or wait, no, I don't think I need. Let's just try to write a test. Jesus Christ. What do I want to do? blah. There's a most challenges done leaderboard, this kind of thing. Yeah, which I'll create based on domain events. No, oh, it's private, eh? Ah, yeah, I need to I can only rehydrate it. Nice. Okay, let's close all of the things. Then go back to that test. Then say rehydrate. Pass it a bunch of broadcast events. I wonder if this is still interesting. This is in fact a list of broadcast events, so maybe it's quite difficult, huh? Let's use this thing. Yeah, sure. This is a new listing. Then we will create a leaderboard based on that, and then a leaderboard can project. And this projection is important because it will decide how scores are attributed within the context of this thing. So let's rename it. So if I say project does cool stuff. It's not okay. It is complaining. Project does not just only do cool stuff. What does it actually do? Maybe I don't want to write it that way. Most challenges done leaderboard creates a ranking where the player with the most challenges sent out, where the player that sent out the most challenges has the highest rank. There we go. Oh, of course, this is imaginatory, I think you call that. So in this case, I want my in-mem broadcast events to keep specific broadcast events. This one, I need to register a new player. So uid.random, I don't care about this. We'll call scallop. Then we'll call another, or we will create another player called decrypt. And then we'll need to make sure that damn it, I forgot how I called it. Is it here in domain events? Player challenged, yeah. And player challenged looks like an initiator and an opponent. Okay. Can you believe that I already forgot what it was called? Player challenged? That I think we need to refactor right away. Well, I refactor correct, I should say. There we go. And then move that. Yeah. Oh, I need to add this, I guess. Yeah, these are used freaking everywhere, right? So I don't want this test. Most challenges done leaderboard test. Most challenges done leaderboard test. Why is it? I don't understand why it's on version, but whatever's. So this was the move. So, allez, not really a move. I guess it's a moved. What was it again? Domain event to the correct package. Okay, and then we can go back to our test. Maybe first check this one. Let's just get rid of it. Reload. What the banelings? I'm scared of deleting this thing now, so let's just keep it for now. Player challenge, this was. Let's also keep the for leaderboard bullshit for now. Oh, and now, oh no, now I need this player ID. So this is scallop ID. And this is decrypt ID. And then I need to say player challenged. So this is saying scallop challenged decrypt ID. Then I'm gonna create two more where I challenge decrypt again. And here we'll do the other way around. Just so that decrypt also has at least a single point or something. And then we'll say that at least you'll get 1 point for one per challenge that you've done, basically. It doesn't even need to be accepted. So this is just a way to check that we can, or like how this is going to look like. Maybe I should really make a point of this being very, very temporary, because the test is going to be useless because we won't have a most challenges done leaderboard test at all. It's just a way of keeping it really simple. So let's create these things. So we've got another data class called this. Then we'll get two player IDs. One is the initiator, which is a UUID. Ugh. And then the other one was the, I forget. Opponent, of course. Here I didn't manage to make type aliases for these things, so. I wonder why I gave up there. Okay. Oh, my eye is hurting. Player challenged for leaderboard. Nice. And then they exist now. Then this project thing happens. And I guess I can call it directly. And this actually is a leaderboard or like a ranking. Maybe I'll call it ranking or something. And then I can assert that that one ranking contains exactly, not in any order, projected player will get rank, yeah, I guess 1. Scallop score 2 because I've done 2 challenges. And then decrypt with a score of 1 with a rank 2. Okay, we can also decide if we want ties to happen or not. Okay. Now, if I run these tests, or this test, it should fail. Saying... because we're already projected player... we might get 2 players, but the ranks will be incorrect. Yeah. Okay. Nice. Cool, huh? So registering multiple players also works. We've tested that now. And then another thing that we can do later is set up scenarios or something, because I don't want to keep working with these kinds of things. So I don't want to manually set up my broadcast events. But that's going to be... Actually, no, I need to do it like this. That's annoying. Or what I could do is I could write some shared test classes in the other domain that I can then execute as something in here, in core, in the test package or something, that I can depend on in here, in the leaderboards domain, so that my broadcast events are being built or generated by performing actions in the core domain. That way I can make sure that they will be real. It's like a real use case, let's say, yeah? But for now this works, and it's fine. Good enough. Yeah, now we can implement this, in fact, huh? Oh, so cool, so cool. Okay, so we need to decide where do we want to put that stuff. This is just mapping stuff. So what we do here is, okay, so here we've got the way we generate our players is by rolling, well, no, just doing filter is instance of this kind of player registered for leaderboard event, then taking their nicknames and assigning it to the player's property. And then this player's property is then being mapped to create projected players, and I can just hard code the score, of course, and then the rank can be null. So, I mean, it's cheating a little bit, honestly, but I mean, I could make sure that I had like a working, completed implementation so far my scenario test. But now, how do I want to go about this? Because I see that I've got like a scoring algorithm here as well, where I can return as I forgot where I was going with this thing, honestly. I guess first we want all of the players. That sort of makes sense, but it doesn't really make sense that I only take their nicknames, because I don't want to make the decision here that nickname should be unique. I want that to happen in my core domain, or like, I really need to get better name for that. Fucking hell. Core is so general. I have multiple bounded contexts. What am I going to call the initial bounded context? Like the thing in front. What you call that? Registration. It's not just registration. You also challenge players, etc. Create teams. The non-leaderboard context. Christ. I guess it's already a better name. Oh, So annoying naming. Anyway, what I want to do then, yeah, maybe I want to keep the IDs anyway. So let's just make this into maybe not a list then, but a map of UUIDs, or maybe we can now actually use player IDs and then type alias this. No, don't. I don't want to reuse that. I want to have my own custom. Can you do internal type alias player ID for UUID? Yeah, nice. And then what do I want? Do I want a map? That's a thing. Do I want a map? Okay, you know what? Let's do player it.id to nickname and then as map or to map. Voila. Then we've got a map, and now we no longer can use it. That should be the value. See, now we're working. This is actually a list of players. Christ. But I've only used it there, so it's okay. It's okay. We could also make like projected player partials, let's say, where we assign the score later. Then we already have the projected players. Maybe we can do that. So but then maybe I want this to just be okay, be like that, and then create a factory function or something to create a projected player based on an entry of a player ID and a string. So this string is actually a player name, and then I'll create that as well, which is a string. I think we call it nickname everywhere else, so guess what? Call it a nickname. The ID I don't care about there. The rank I need to decide based on their score. Yeah, so that's something else I need to figure out. This I don't remember how I was going to. Yeah, I could just say, let's have a scoring algorithm, which is something that takes in a list of broadcast events for a certain player. So maybe I'll need that. And then this, I don't know why I wrote it like that. Yeah, so that's to have like an initial scoring algorithm, I see. So is this an actual score then? Yeah. So that we can use. Is this also nickname? I guess that we can use nickname. This is the type alias of the Leaderboard API. That's okay. So no need for that, and then import that. It's kind of weird that the projected player doesn't have an actual player ID thing, but it's okay. Okay. Yeah. So scoring algorithm. That's not it. Now I need the, what's it called? The player ID, I guess, because I want to identify player ID, and that should return. Can you do that? Yeah, okay. So this is basically saying all of the players get 0 points every single time. So now we can extract the scoring algorithm somewhere. That's interesting. And we can also sort of oh, we can have that as a oh, it's starting to look nice. Ooh. So if we would name this thing 0 points algorithm. Yeah, of course not. Broadcast events. And then this is a player ID. Okay. Now I can unit test exactly this thing. Well, get a better one, I guess. But we haven't really applied it just yet, this scoring algorithm. I wonder if I'm already trying to make it too difficult. I feel like I am. Like I'm not even using the scoring algorithm anywhere. Yeah. So let's try to just do that first. Create scores. We can apply scoring algorithm and pass the events, and we need to do that per player. So what we can do is players, I guess map them, and then for every player we should name this. Let's call it player. So for every player there will be a score being returned. So maybe what I can do here is say player key to this, and then to map again. Then we will have a map having, maybe let's do this, scores per player. Sure. Pain, Ollie, don't do that. I guess this is okay if I indicate that's a scores per player. And what we can then do is zip or merge scores per player. You can't merge. Join? Allez, I'm looking for a way to merge both, because those keys are the same type, so you could reason scores per player, they match with this one, so that's but there's also like a thing that they need to be 1-to-1. And I guess we've already started from the players, so maybe instead of doing this, and we can just apply the scoring algorithm directly here. scoring algorithm with events, and then it.key, and then this becomes player. It's already looking a bit nicer, I guess. Sure. Then this doesn't need to happen. Then we can just go over all of the players once, get their name, and calculate their value or the score, their score. And then I think what I want to do is I need a way to update their rank based on their score. That we can do after that. So first, let's just get the scoring thing right, and then this we can unit test separately. Actually, if I run my tests now again, they should still work, but I am using a scoring algorithm instead. I mean, when I say work, get the same result. So, and that's the fact. That's the case, I mean. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. Now let's create a new algorithm that's saying most challenges done algorithm? I don't know. Where do we want to put that? We can test it separately. Algorithm. I wonder if you type your function this way, can you just refer to it or reference it, I mean? I guess I can try it out with this. So if I say yeah, maybe name it, I don't know, P oh. Aha. You can do it like this. Can I change visibility of that? It still compiles. Let's try that. Then that means my algorithm can work like that. Then I need to return something. And this I want to unit test now, I guess. What's your problem, man? Needs to return a score, not an int. Then the test. Now I can only have those things. So just the player challenged events. Most challenges algorithm takes into account well, attributes 1 point per challenge. Initiated, maybe. Initiated, there we go. Then we'll need, that sucks a bit. Because now I need this one. Oh. Okay, let's make that in external somehow. Can I do that? Can I then still access this locally? I mean, from my test? I wonder, where's the test? Here. I can, haha. And I want these. Voila. Yeah, here almost looks the same. But I can be a bit more specific. I can only keep the player challenged for leaderboard so that I can keep the events that the most challenges done algorithm is interested in only here. It's going to screw a bit with how logically that thing is set up. I mean, or realistically, because this is not realistic. You'll always first need players registered for them to be able to initiate challenges, I guess. So, but this is fine. And then I can ask, give me the points for scallop ID. Sorry about that. Scallops score. And then we'll do also decrypts score. And decrypt ID. Sure. Insert that. Is equal to 2 and then 1. That's it. Let's run the test. I think I'm still returning 0 for that. Not really sure. Yeah. So the test should fail. Sweet. Yeah, let's try to implement it then. Player ID. Ah, yeah. Maybe I can already limit this to challenged events or something like that. Ah, no, because then I cannot make the scoring algorithm generic anymore. And change this to most challenges done. True elect, can you ask me a question? Always. Always, good friend. Let's see. While you're making your question, we can check events filter. And I want, maybe it's not instance of, oh man. Full mate. So maybe broadcast event dot this one, where ID player ID equals the player ID. And then for every single one, I just want to sum, I guess. So maybe. Ah, it's a list, and I want. No, that's okay. Oh no, I can't. It's just a list here and not something smart like those that in-memory stuff that I wrote. Where was it? In the test itself. This thing. Because no, this actually is not there's not a lot of utility on there. So maybe let's go to the event store somewhere. This one. Yeah, this thing, I want that. That's something I want. And I want to keep it somewhere here, maybe. Ah, here. True elect. I'm a beginner coder. I'm learning from a Udemy course. How can one remember all of the code? It seems daunting. It's so much code to remember. You're learning HTML. First of all, congratulations. I will have to say it takes a lot of dedication, but yeah, I mean, all good things take a lot of dedication, right? Yeah, maybe you can revert it back to a more generic question where you ask, how do you remember anything, really? There's a way to studying something, I think, and the way that works best for me might not work great for you. So spending some time into thinking about what makes you learn the best, whether that, I think it's either you learn something by doing a lot. That's definitely for me, because once I start doing stuff, I can more easily remember it. So practicing coding makes me remember more, because I can remember cases. I remember this project when that happened and we chose to do that at that point in time. So that's a way to learn, I think. Some other people, they learn much better by just reading books, and then once they just read it, they can internalize it so easily just because they've read it somehow. It makes sense in their head. Other people might need to visually make something more visual, like create a mind map or something in their head that they can reference to in order to remember more stuff. But I think more specifically to HTML, you'll have to remember that HTML tries to be semantic. So it tries to give it a proper name to some things. Now, somewhere that went horribly wrong when they started inventing, let's do HTML, where they went, hey, you know what's good idea? Let's first do HTML tag. That makes sense, right? But then there's like this head stuff, then there's body stuff. So here you can see, well, my HTML document exists out of a head part and a body part, and within your body part you can start organizing your page, really. So all of this is meta information that your browser can interpret and understand to render the lower part. But then in here you'll have I don't know, like a div with a list. Oh, that's not how that works. No, I forget already. You've got a div with an unordered list. That's right, and it has list items, a list item. So UL stands for unordered list. Stuff like that might help you remember things. And then LI stands for list item, etc., etc., etc. So I think by trying to remember what you want to express, that will make you remember easily these tags, for example, or how it all fits. Yeah. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of code to remember. I think it will just come with a lot of practice. That's my advice. I hope that's that's good. It's good enough. But I think, you know, another thing, you mentioned that it's daunting, and I definitely recognize it, especially if you're learning something new. It will happen every time you're learning something new, a new language, for example. But stick to it, because that's something else I wanted to add. The more stuff you will learn from different contexts. So if you know JavaScript, then you will know Java, you will know Kotlin maybe. Those are 3 different languages. They all have their own way of thinking, I want to say, but you can reuse some concept that you've learned from Java in JavaScript and vice versa. I consider myself a full stack developer, yeah. But I prefer backend development, I want to say. I like domain modeling and making an application that's fit for purpose. So that means writing code as you go along. You discover new things, you learn from that, and you go back to the people that are having the problem. You ask them, hey, we've discovered this by coding. Is this how you also think about it or not? What do you think about this case? And then you... are you familiar with Visual Studio Code? Yes, quite. I don't use it that often because I prefer to use IntelliJ for most things because it's got the best support, and I happen to have a license thanks to my company. Or the company that I work for, I should say. But yeah, Visual Studio Code is really, really nice. It's grown a lot and over the years. So yeah, it's a pretty good editor, honestly. Yeah. You can also do a multi-cursoring there, so thank you for the follow, by the way, True Elect. Right. So, if I have a list of broadcast events, I want to be able to filter this thing. Maybe. Yeah. I want to filter events with these, and then dot filter those based on that. You're very welcome. If you've got any questions, even in the future, if I happen to be streaming, I'm very welcome, or I will be very happy to try and help you out with those. But yeah, it's not easy at all. Maybe something that can also help for learning in general, I mean, at work, we also have to, we choose to learn more new stuff. So recently, at our company, we said like, hey, I want to learn more. We've been trying to do clean architecture this whole time. Maybe let's try to do a reading group about it. So we ordered these books, Clean Architecture. I think you can read it, yeah. And the idea is that we are going to read this book in a group, and we will agree on an amount of chapters that we will read. We will read all of those in our own time, and then talk about what we've learned in group with everybody else that's reading the book, the same book. And when you do that, you sort of make a promise, not just to yourself, but also to the group, to commit to reading a bunch of chapters. And then, so that's a good idea, because it sort of forces you into a habit of reading a book. And the stuff that you've read, you will rediscuss in that group. So that will help internalize it a little bit better as well. So if you've got an opportunity to do that, maybe you can even go to some kind of I don't know, like a Slack group or something on HTML, where a bunch of other people are doing, or maybe some on Udemy itself. I don't even know if they do that, but try to find a community that's trying to learn the same thing, so that you can make promises to them, I guess, to keep you doing this worthwhile adventure, I guess, into learning HTML. But yeah, That's I think all the advice I have to give for now, at least. Let's figure out what's going on here. So we've got a type mismatch. It's required. That makes sense. This I don't. Why is it player ID not a thing? Ah, yeah, of course. Where the initiator is that thing. Ah, now I can just count or sum actually. Sum by. Something else. Oh, I don't want it to be a suspend function. Coolio. Then I think I want to. Ah, dang. Let's also keep it internal then. Something is wrong here. Why is that? Initiator is a boot. Oh. Then I don't think sum by is a thing I want. No, sum is a selector, sum by is a selector. So before it was count. Then let's make this internal. So what does count do? The number of elements. Actually, this is really just it. I don't need a sum. Right? Yeah, I think this is going to make sure it works. Let's run it. So now I'm rerunning my tests again that test this most challenges done algorithm. They are green. That's good. Maybe now what I can do is test it a bit more by saying, what if we don't have any player challenged for leaderboard events? Maybe we only have player registered events. Then what do we expect to be returned? Without any player challenged events. What do we want to return then? Now we can still discover an ID. It just won't be anything, so both will be 0, I think. That makes sense. Returns score of 0. I guess it doesn't make sense to have an extra player here. Well, this one won't matter. And then I will only test my own score. Oh, maybe it's going to be a bit more interesting if I only have... yeah, that will be more interesting for this case. So we'll just have decrypt that has challenged events and scallop will have none. Or we'll have another event. Yeah. See, now I am adding those cases there. So mine should remain 0 because I have no player challenged. I only have been challenged. Let's rerun all of the tests. And I think this is still going to fail. But what we can then do, yeah, okay, nice. But the other one is working. Cool. Then maybe if there are no events, I guess it will work the same. Without any events. Also returns a score of 0. Then actually it shouldn't work because you won't have any idea or any ID. here we don't really know somebody's score. Run it, it should remain 0 as well. Huh? So this makes a bit less sense because we only want this challenges done algorithm to be used within the context of a leaderboard here. And the way we can, or we want to make that clear, is by keeping this function internal to this most challenges done leaderboard, but we can test it separately because it's an internal function. But then what we can do is, instead of using the 0 points, we can use the most challenges done algorithm, get rid of this one, then rerun all of our tests here, and then it should in fact work. Oh, it's not working, or what? Ah yeah, okay, so the ranking part, oh, so sorry, the score part is working, but the ranking part isn't working just yet. So now what I want to do, and I guess that's like a benefit of having a rank of null, or a nullable rank on our projected player, as I can cheat my way into first generating projected players that have no rank, and then run across them and basically assign a rank based on the score. So my test still remains valid. I mean, like, it's still a red test, so it can be, it's okay. So in my first pass, I am going to just apply the scoring algorithm, and I think what I can do then, see, now I no longer need the ID anymore, I guess. So my idea was to keep the ID as a way of no, I still need the ID because, yeah, okay, never mind, I'm dumb, because I need it here. You know what I'll do is I'll use destructuring. Oh. Okay, I guess I'll do it manually then. Player ID, player nickname. Then I can be a bit more explicit on what this map entry really is, without, yeah, using that. Or key and value. I didn't want key and value, really. That's all there is to it. Okay, so now we've got a bunch of players after this that have a score. Players with score, but without rank. And then we can maybe players with score. We only have projected players now, so I can sort this. Sort by score. I want no, I want descending. How do you do that again? So like this, of course. It's how you expect it to work, I want to say. That's so cool. So this will create a new list of the same players, but sorted differently. And then I want to map these again and use index, map indexed, where I've got the index and that projected player, and then I can just return, wait, what does map say? Map returns, yeah, a list, nice. Projected player, and then let's first write it the way I think I want to write it. So rank equals index, and that should be it, in fact. So I want to just return this. First make it work, then make it pretty. The next thing I want to do, it's not working though. Oh, okay. I guess we've got a +1 then. So now it's already become a bit more explicit. So now this function, or actually this is actually ranking players. So I'll extract this and call it a rank. And now what I want to do is I want to write this as an extension function so that it will read, or it might read a bit better, but I don't know yet. So now I sort of expect IntelliJ to help me refactor this as an extension function. And I don't exactly know if it can do that. It's not inlining. Sort of want to introduce a new function, I guess. Yeah, it's not really doing that, so I guess I'll write it myself. So we'll call it rank, sorry. And rank is a private function on a list of projected players, where this, okay, it's kind of weird. Huh? Okay, I was gonna say that was so weird, like why is it not used? I'm using it right here. Yeah, so here I am ranking and here I am scoring, in fact. So maybe I can also write that as a score function. I guess for damn. So I said earlier that what I'm really doing here is I'm abusing the projected player, the fact that this rank property is optional. Really what I want is like a partial projected player to build that thing. So maybe I should just keep. Wait, so we're in the refactoring step now. So my tests are green. That's why I'm thinking about refactoring now. Yeah. Then my project function is going to become a bit neater, I guess. So I really want like this intermediary projected player object that I can then apply the scoring algorithm to with those events, and then rank them. And this ranking will be the last step in completing all of the steps. So first it's creating or making projected player temp partials, let's say, with the nicknames that we've got in the players here. And the IDs, we'll need to keep the IDs. Then we'll apply the scoring algorithm, then we'll apply the rank, and then we will build them. So we've got a projected player builder, I guess. What time is it? Oh. Do I still want to do this refactoring now? It's a difficult choice. Maybe we can do like an intermediary step first. So this is creating projected players already and scoring them. Okay. And I also don't remember why I made this as a computed property if I'm only using it privately, and if I'm only using it once in this project thing here. That seems also a bit strange. I mean, otherwise, yeah, this would be in the place of this part, so I kind of understand why that's a thing. You know what? Let's just try and go for it. So I'll create a projected player partial. Let's create a data class for it. It will keep our player ID, which is a player ID. It will keep our nickname. Yeah, make that into a file as well then, huh? It will also keep, we will also keep the score, and it will keep a rank. And I think all of these are optional. Or maybe it wouldn't make sense to make them if you don't even have an ID or a nickname. Eh? So let's do that. Both of these are null initially. Then we can, instead of making a map of these players, we will return a projected player partial. And then I can create that thing. Okay, let's just use the constructor. Nickname. We don't need this anymore. It's a list of these, of course. And then this is quite crazy because before we had key and value, and we destructured those into player ID and player nickname. Now we've changed the type of this projected player partial from a map of player IDs and names to a list, like a completely different type. of projected player partials, but this map function is still working. This is how refactoring in Kotlin goes. I want to see anyone do this in Java. I really challenge you to do this in Java. Like, this to me is insane. How practical. Oh, fucking hell, I love Kotlin. I love Kotlin so much. Yeah, so really what I can do now is pull this thing out. Just return... well, actually, here we are creating players already, in fact. So the with score, that's okay, but I want to keep on returning these partials. So what I want, and I don't want to change the nickname anymore. I forget why. I already had the name. Why does that? It doesn't make sense. Now I will need the partial, and I want to return a partial.copy where I apply the scoring algorithm with a partial.player ID. Parietal, nice. Okay, cool. And this is basically applying scoring algorithm, right? So, yeah, that's okay. And then I want to rank them, and instead of ranking a projected player, I want to rank projected player partials. And then I want to build these, I guess. How do you say that? Build or complete, I don't know. And that's another private function on projected partial, where we can say this.map with, to make it super clean, build, and then we'll provide a build. Maybe we'll put it in the partial itself, or do we? Yeah, no, let's keep it within the leaderboard thing. So private function projected partial dot build is something that's going to return a projected player. And then we can say create a projected player using this dot rank, this dot nickname, this dot score. Problem? Well, yeah, okay. So if you don't have a score, you get 0. Yeah, that actually doesn't make a whole lot of sense. You sort of want like a step in between every single time where after scoring you already would have projected players, I guess, because that's like the final stage. But yeah, this is fine, I think. What's your problem? Or not what? or maybe completed or something. No, I like build. Why wouldn't it work? That's crazy. I guess we could write it in here, but it's okay. Yeah, it's okay. It's fine. Then this part here, where we do scoring on a partial, I feel like we can write that as well as a private function. Let's do that. So private function, I think we want all. Let's just do a single one. So the partial, a projected player partial dot score. What that thing will do is it will apply scoring algorithm on events with this dot player ID, and the result will be a score, but really what I want is a new partial. So this dot copy with a score, and then I can just do this score. And this, I think we can rewrite. That's not what I wanted. Yeah, so I want to score using an maybe I can do this instead. I can pass the scoring algorithm to it. It's fine now. But see, now I can do this, and I think what I want to do is extract this into a function on the list of partials. So let's call this score, and then do this maybe, and then we can call players.score. What say you? So if we want to project, we can get all the players, score them, rank them, build them, and then we've got our projection. I don't know, maybe this is a bit over the top. Is my test still working? It is. Okay, I think I'm going to commit this and then sleep on it. We've got a working most challenges done leaderboard. Not integrated yet. Right, scenario tests. Oh, actually. No, my scenario test will still work because it doesn't take into account where is scenario? It doesn't take into account player challenged events. just yet. Because we don't have a feature to challenge players. Or do we? We had a controller? A challenge controller? Oh, we have a challenge controller, lol. So we could, in theory, challenge another player. And then I think it's going to already... No, it's not going to work yet because we should map those domain events to broadcast events, and that we're not doing yet. Okay, anyway. I'm going to call it quits. Thank you for sticking around. And yeah, see you next Tuesday. Peace.